This is Joe Leigh here for Seconds Out. Absolutely delighted to be joined by Dave Coldwell. Short notice, so I want to start by saying thank you. How have you been, first of all?
I'm all right, thanks, mate. I'm all right, not too bad. What about yourself?
Yeah, busy as always, but never complaining. We're obviously talking a lot at the moment about Joshua Alexander Usyk, but you're a busy man as well. No, you're probably busier than me. You've got a thriving gym at the moment. Let's start off with the gym. You've got guys fighting all the time. You're in the gym all the time. How's everything down there at the moment?
Well, funny enough, this is the first stretch where there's not been any fights for fight day for quite a while. So it's all been a little bit. It's been a strange sort of feeling in the gym. Nobody's had a date. Now Hope's got a date, so Hope's fighting August 6th. So now the ball started rolling again, and Stephen Cairns is expected to fight as well. I've been told in August. So things are starting to move now. So then Jordan, we've been waiting for his hand to heal. He had an operation on his right hand, which was needed. We kept having to put it off due to fight dates. And then after the European title win, we thought, right, get it done now. It needs to be done. So he'll be back in September. And we're just waiting on Lerone Richards. What's next for him as well? So yeah. Now we've got one day. Now it's like buses, isn't it? They just all keep coming then.
Yeah. Who was Jordan's last fight against? Definitely joking here. Definitely joking. If you can't remember, then just leave the interview here because it was one of the most exciting moments of the year so far. What have your plans been with him since? Obviously, some time off and he needs to heal, etc.
Yeah, he's a quick. Thing is, Jordan marks up anyway. If you look at all through his career, even in his earlier quicker fight, he does mark up. His skin tends to mark up. But the eye was bad. But he's a perforated eardrums. They take a bit of time to heal. Everything's all good now. He's had to go away from the doctors and everything like that. So he's fine. The only thing is the hand. It was a very big hand operation that he's had to have. And it's one of those where they take it from the hip, so the hip was very, very sore. It was a case of that healing. Now next week, this week we've just started back touching on the paddles with it with his right hand. Then we'll progress it to a bit heavier pad work, bag work, take it from there, and then the next stage will be sparring, which we expect probably 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks. He'll be back using it in sparring. But it feels good. It feels strong. Everything else about him, he's absolutely on fire. He's back to his best now. I think what happens is with a lot of fighters, when they have a big win, a championship win a new title, we always talk about how it improves them automatically, just up there. But with Jordan, it's always, even though if you look at his record, he's had a lot of fights, but his first 16 fights were against journeymen and fighting journeymen like 3 times and things like that. And so he wasn't learning anything from there. So everything since has been, 17th fight onwards has been like learning, progression. Part of that is getting beat against Sunoco, coming back from it, learning about himself. And it's been a process. And obviously there's been a stop-start with his illness and pandemic. And then he had that cut when it was, the European title fight got put back again. So he's had a lot of mental obstacles to overcome. But that's part of what's made him grow. But the in-the-ring experiences that he gained in that one fight with Worthy, that is where you would, before the fight, it's a case of win the European, make a couple of defences, then you move on to world level. But because you wanted more experience for him. But everything that he had to cope with in that fight, came together. And I think looking at him in the gym and how he's just flying, even though he's got everything one-handed, he's improved so much, and he's really, really on top of his game. I'm excited for him to be back firing with 2 hands again. And like I said, mentally with him, it's ticked all the boxes, and it's answered a lot of questions for Jordan Gill himself, and that's the most important thing. No matter what we all think, whether it's coaches, whether it's fans, whether it's people that are naysayers, it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. It's what does Jordan Gill think? What does the fighter think himself? and that ticked a lot of boxes, and how he overcame everything, and he feels, he's ready now to be let off the leash.
So he's obviously in the stacked division. Are we going to see him level up from Girthy next time out?
We'll see, because obviously availability, fights are there. He's got a bandage that's been slapped on him for the European.
Okay.
I think. So if it's a case of European defence and we have to go down that route, if an opportunity came for a world title fight, then we would consider that strongly, because, like I said, he's 27 now. He's nearly 28. He's still one of the youngest in the division, but like I said, it's time now where he can be let off the leash and roll the dice, and he's certainly got the talent and the ability. He's had the shadow of his hand all the way through prep for the last couple of years, for the Bellotti fight, for the Juarez fight, and the prep for a Guerfi fight. Now he's had that hand operation, it's been done, then he feels a lot more confident in it. And with Mike Hayton doing it, he's a legend, and so many fighters out there will know that when Mike take control of the reins and fixes your hand, then your hands in good shape. So again, that's another little confidence booster that's been given to him.
Lerone Richards, obviously we've seen him look very strong last time out. What's the time scale of him and in his next fight?
I don't know. Whereas I manage the other guys, I don't manage Lerone, so I'll leave that to his management. All I do is I'm day in, day out with Lerone in the boxing gym, training to get better every day. He's shown an incredible amount of professionalism and discipline through the frustrations of not having no fight dates. He had a couple of weeks off after his fight in, I think it was December. No, was it February? I can't even remember. It's that long. But yeah, December it was. He had a couple of weeks out of the gym, come back, and he's been training to. Obviously, we're not hammering him, but he's training to get better every day. Every day, he's training to improve all the time, and he is improving all the time. The guy is brilliant. He's shit up. Listen, I'm one of these that I like to talk real about my fighters, and the limitations and things like that. But Lerone Richards, he's special. He's some talent. He just wants to fight. So, like I said, when I get a phone call from management, or Lerone gets a phone call from his management, his advisors, then they'll, then we kick things off and we get excited again. But until then, we're just staying professional and taking it one day at a time.
Look forward to it. I'm sure Lerone's looking forward to it as well. We obviously had Chisora in the gym last year. He's got a fight coming up, a rematch against Pulev. Slipped my mind for a minute. We expect he's not going to be with you anymore. He's obviously changed trainers many times though in his career. Was it just a case of him moving on?
Listen, I'll be honest with you. The first thing, he was sat on the massage table when he come in from the Parker fight. He sat on there, and I'm honest, and I said to him, I said, listen to that crowd singing your name walking out of the ring after getting beat. I think it's perfect time for you to retire. And straight away he was like, fuck that. And I get that. Dereck's Dereck. But I genuinely want him to retire. I want him to retire. And then obviously there's the Eddie put out a tweet about Deontay Wilder, and I was like, fuck that. And so really, and this happened to me before with somebody as well, when a coach tells you that he thinks you should retire, if you choose not to, it's very hard to be with that coach, because that coach thinks you shouldn't really be fighting, or he doesn't think that. It's not that I don't think Dereck can't win. Don't get me wrong, and it's the same with David Price. I said to David Price that I thought he should retire. It's not the thing that I think that he can't win fights out there. I just think at certain points in Fight's career, when you've got the money and you've got the lifestyle, and you're getting wear and tear on not just on your body but on your brain as well. I just think it comes to a time where maybe what you're doing it for, call it a day. But I understand with Dereck, because boxing's his life, and that's kind of like what keeps him. I'm not being rude, but it's like me. If I didn't have the boxing gym and it didn't work with my fighters, I don't know where my mind would be. I'd be like, I'm looking around, a lost soul. And I think that's kind of like what Dereck's trying to put off as well. He just loves to fight. Until that hunger and that desire to fight leaves a fighter, it's very, very hard for him to hang up the gloves, because that's all they want to do. And that's all they know, but that's all they want to do. And you can talk about people's, the health down the line, this, yes, but in this moment in time, if you take that away from somebody prematurely, sometimes that can cause just as bad side effects. You could go off the rails. I'm not saying Dereck in particular, but it was somebody with that sort of character, and that where everything is about that lifestyle, that the discipline of the regimentation of going to the gym, doing this, being around the same sort of people, training, fighting, the crowd, everything. Until you're ready to accept to let that go, you're going to miss that. And how is that going to play on you? And then are you going to do other things and get yourself in trouble, or just snap at somebody or whatever? You don't know. So it's very, very difficult situation to be in. And I wish Dereck all the best going forward. We've had 2 good stints together. Unfortunately, we lost the last fight. That's boxing, but I wish him all the best with Pulev and going forward, whatever he chooses to do. As long as he's happy, and as long as he's safe, and as long as when he reckons he's not my age yet, but as long as when he gets to my age, then he's not, he's not suffering, then I'm happy for him.
I'm going to ask you a difficult question now. Obviously, with what you've just said in mind, how do you actually see that rematch going?
I don't know, because it wasn't a fight that I thought was going to be made, because, there was obviously talk about Wilder for a brief stint, but then there was talk about, I think there was Ariola, there was other guys long, and I was like, okay, that Ariola's a punch up, it's just a swing up. But the other thing is, I said, if he was going to carry on, I want him to be in a fight where he was a favourite, and just have a gimme sort of fight. I thought, and I said that to him. I said, look, you've earned the right with giving the fans all what you've done with the entertainment in these fights where you're the underdog, or it's 50-50, but mainly underdog. Mm-hmm. And the performance that you've put and the heart that you've shown, I think he'd earned the right to have a fight where he's a favourite, 60-40, you know what I mean? Maybe even a bit more, just to get him back into that winning groove and to have a nice finish sort of thing. But the Pulev fight, I didn't expect that at all. Obviously, I haven't seen it for a long, long time, but years ago when they fought, I think Pulev beat him quite comfortably. And I think, if I remember rightly, it was Pulev's jab that was doing all the damage. I think Dereck's a more experienced fighter now. He's fighting with a lot of intensity now. And I think he's a bit smarter fighter now as well. And I don't think Pulev looked very good in his last fight. Again, I didn't watch him because he wasn't on my radar. I wasn't really interested in what Pulev's doing. So it's difficult for me to call who I think wins the fight because you don't know what stage Pulev's at as well. So it's an interesting fight, and Dereck always brings out the big guns. So I'm sure it's going to be a great atmosphere, and he'll give it his all as usual. Hopefully, he does the business.
Yeah, that's one thing you can guarantee: a great atmosphere.